Hey everyone, it's Covetous, and we're doing another dungeon guide today since the Shattered Throne dungeon guides seem to do pretty well. Way too many people still don't have their Gjallarhorn, so let's change that today. And if you're looking to run this with some people, you already know what to do. Discord link is in the description, so join up and find a fire team. Alright, let's get right into this. We are going to cover the dungeon's mechanics, the collectibles, and of course the Gjallarhorn quest and catalyst, so here we go. You need to have the 30th anniversary and go visit Shahan to pick up the And Outfly the Wolves quest to start this, so do that. Team composition I'd recommend for this dungeon. If you're new to running dungeons, have one Starfire Well of Radiance Warlock and or one Ward of Dawn Titan. This makes things much easier for boss encounters. Other than that, it doesn't matter too much, but high damage supers like Falling Star, Thundercrash Titan, Mobius Quiver, or Gathering Storm Hunter make for quick boss encounters. So in this opening area, I'm going to explain the mechanic that you'll use for this entire dungeon. Burden by Riches. There's actually kind of a lot going on here, but it's very easy once you understand it. Burdens, as we call them, are the exotic looking engrams that enemies will drop during the main encounters here in this dungeon. Red bar enemies will drop 1 burden, yellow bars drop 3. If you collect 10 of these, you'll instantly get all of your abilities, including your super, fully recharged. So this is nice because you can be pretty liberal with your super and ability usage during this entire dungeon, really. And you'll notice that when picking up a burden, you'll see a 30-second Burden by Riches debuff on your screen. Let it run down to 0 and you die. But you can fully refresh this countdown by collecting more burdens. Your screen will start to turn red at around 6 seconds, letting you know that you need to get rid of your burdens. So how do you get rid of them? Well, in every encounter with these burdens, you'll need to deposit them by standing next to these large white crystal things. Standing next to them will completely freeze your timer, so even if you're at like 1 second left, you're safe as long as you fully remove all of the Burden by Riches debuff. Depositing these burdens will trigger different things in every encounter, and the amount of burdens needed to cause these triggers also differs for each encounter, but the mechanic always remains the same. You've probably seen that this opening encounter is pretty simple. Just collect 60 burdens and watch the floor crumble underneath you. And right away, we've got our first collectible. This is the first of 12 audio logs that you'll need to collect to get your super clean black and gold Gjallarhorn ornament. And if you move ahead just a bit and cross the crystal bridge here, you'll see some enemies and the second audio log off to the left. Keep pressing forward and eventually you'll make your way to this area. If you've never done any of this dungeon before, I'd highly recommend figuring this out for your own, especially with friends. It's just hilarious watching people try to figure this out. But if you just want to know how to do it, you want to get this done, here you go. Open up this door on the right and watch for the pressure plate right away, and flip the switch at the end. But before leaving, jump into the storage area to get your third collectible. And this next part, I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. It's basically just clicking some switches, so I'll be right back. Alright, and once you've made it up to this section, instead of moving forward where the game wants you to go, jump back a little bit to get your fourth audio log right here, and then head to the next area. I'm going to, again, kind of speed up this area to keep this video as short as possible. You're basically just crossing the bridge into the opposite rooms, avoiding pressure plates, and flipping switches. It's very easy. Once you make it to the furthest room from the start, jump onto its second floor and make a quick stop in this cubby hole for your fifth audio log. Then just flip the switch right when you drop down. You'll then need to head back to the beginning of the room now, where a giant garage door has opened, deal with the enemies, flip the switch, head back over to the other side, and once here, clear out the enemies and open the right door. In this next room, you'll see some numbers along the wall kind of indicating each zone. All you'll need to do is flip the switch at the correct areas. The order here is 1, 3, 1, 2, and then at 2 you'll collect a Scorch Cannon that you take over to 4, which is the finish. Once you come across the Scorch Vandal, once you get to Station 2, make sure to grab it because you'll need it to open the door to the next area. and try to hold on to this Scorch Cannon all the way to the first boss, but we'll get to that in a second. Before leaving this area, head over to Zone 3, then jump up here to get your first secret chest. If this is your first time running this dungeon, you most likely won't get anything, because these chests only contain loot that you've already found within this dungeon, and we haven't completed any encounters yet, so you won't get anything. And this takes me to the next point here, which is the only other mechanic in this dungeon. Whoever is holding the Scorch Cannon needs to shoot this receptacle here, fully charge it, and then let go. You'll be doing this for the rest of the dungeon, so get used to someone having the Scorch Cannon. Then make your way up the stairs. Trust me, it's totally safe. Just kidding. Use these side rooms to hide from that giant barrel. Someone always dies here, even if they know it's coming. It's hilarious every time. Okay, almost done here. We're almost at that first boss. Make your way to the right side of this room, where you can head through this doorway and watch out for that pressure plate. Once you make it to the end of this hallway, just duck to enter this area to find your 6th audio log. Then make your way out through some air vents, do one more long jump, and you are at the first boss. Okay, first boss, let's do this. Grab your linear fusions here and try to have one hard-hitting special weapon that can deal with the Yellow Bar Knights. There's a lot of them here, and it really goes a long way. Witherhoard does wonders. What you'll be doing here in this encounter is shooting the receptacles above the garage doors, fully charging it and letting it go. This will open the doors and allow you to kill enemies to collect their burdens that they drop. There are about 10 enemies per room, so it can get kind of hectic, but remember, every 10 that you collect, you'll get your super back, your grenades, melees, everything, so just kind of spam away your abilities. Just make sure to try to have your super back by the time it's boss damage. If you're quick enough, you can open up the other garage doors and clear out those enemies, collect their burdens without having to get rid of your burdens at the crystal. It just makes it that much quicker. It's not necessary, but you can do it. So you'll need 25 burdens to initiate the damage phase here, which can easily be done by fully clearing 2 rooms. But if you can't do it in 2, that's fine. Just keep swapping between right and left garages until you collect and deposit 25. You'll hear a kind of whoosh noise once you've deposited 25, and a few seconds later, another deeper whoosh noise will let you know that the boss is open for damage. Unload your supers, pop that Well of Radiance or Ward of Dawn, whatever you guys have, and do as much damage as you can with your linear fusions, grenades, anything. The same rules apply here with the Burden by Riches debuff. Make sure you are monitoring your burden timer because it's really easy to forget about it and die when you're too far away from the crystal. But other than that, just rinse and repeat these steps as many times as you need until your team gets the kill. And once you all finish it, move into the next room, and immediately to your left, you'll see this silo looking thing that you can hop into for your 7th audio log. You'll kind of push through this really dark area until you reach the section with a couple switches. Pull out your sparrows and get ready, because this next section can be very frustrating, but it does make you a phenomenal sparrow rider. I will try to show you the best path. I still even struggle with this sometimes, but try to pay attention to the red checkpoint light markers that I run over to extend the timers. You'll have to make it through each zone before the timer expires, otherwise it's a full team wipe. And if you feel like your sparrow is about to blow up, just jump off it and quickly summon a new one. This is much faster than losing your sparrow entirely, having to wait for that really long cooldown timer. It's pretty much a guaranteed fail if that happens. But thankfully, only one of you needs to reach the finish line, located in this giant rock skull. This will take you a few tries, but you've got it. I believe in you. Let me know in the comments below how many tries it took your team to complete this section. If you say 1, I don't believe you. So once you make it to the end, if you're facing the skull, drop down to this area off to the left to get your 8th audio log. Then go unlock your 2nd secret chest by following this path inside the skull right here. And finally, before dropping down this crystal tunnel, jump up here to get your 9th audio log. This one can be kind of annoying to get to, but if you fall all the way down to the bottom, you can actually still make your way up, so don't worry about it. A lot happening in this one area. So what you'll do next is progress through the crystal tunnel and get ready for my least favorite section in any dungeon. I love Grasp of Avarice, but man, this section is just rough. It takes so long. You'll see a Scorch Cannon Vandal, so kill him, grab the Scorch Cannon, and try to look for an immunity shielded servitor at one of the zones in this area. It can be pretty difficult to spot, and if you can't see it at all, it's most likely off to the back left corner from where you're standing. And looking at my footage, that is exactly what happened on this run, so it's a perfect example. I'm kind of shooting at the location where you should be headed. Anyway, once you do find that immune servitor, you'll need to rotate that cannon in the direction that you need to go. Then if you're looking at the cannon, follow the orange cable that's powering it up to reveal a receptacle for you to shoot your Scorch Cannon at. A lot of people get confused with how this works, so I'll just simplify it. Shoot the receptacle, hold it down to charge it, walk to the cannon, then release the trigger. Then it will launch you to wherever you pointed it at. It's that easy, don't make it complicated. You don't need to fully charge it, so just make sure everyone is on the cannon platform before you release the trigger. So once you do make it to the zone where the servitor is at, you'll need to collect and deposit 20 burdens to the crystal that's inside the middle room of each zone. These aren't that hard to find. Depositing 20 will remove the immunity shield from the servitor, allowing you to kill it, and once killed, the servitor literally becomes a ticking time bomb. You'll need to roll the bomb to the cannon, aim the cannon at the center of the ship, and launch it all before that timer runs out. Then start looking for the next immune servitor that will randomly appear at one of the zones, and just rinse and repeat this 4 times total to complete the encounter. If, by any chance, a bomb rolls off the edge, that's completely fine, it's bound to happen. To my knowledge, an infinite amount of servitors can spawn here, so technically you can mess up as much as you need to. Eventually you'll have to come to this area here, so make sure to stop by this suspended rocket and pick up your 10th collectible. And as mentioned, once you've launched 4 bombs at the ship successfully, you have completed the encounter. Head to the center area, and before you take the cannon up, make sure to stop down here by these rocks to pick up your 11th audio log. And once you do that, now you can ride the cannon up to make your way to the final boss room. With this encounter, you're going to take everything you've learned from the entire dungeon and kind of apply it all at once in typical Destiny fashion. I would say try to get familiar with the room first and assign 1 player to each section, left, middle, and right area, where you will also notice 1 Scorch Cannon receptacle for each area. The pods hanging on the sides of the room are secretly housing tons of burdens that you'll need to collect, so that's why we assign locations to each player, but we'll get to that more in a second. Make sure to have your linear fusion rifles equipped here, or if you're watching this in Lightfall when linears got nerfed, just use whatever is best for DPS in your current era of Destiny. Moving close to that suspicious red engram on the ground in the center of the room will start the encounter. The boss will head out first, and a few seconds later, a giant Vandal and Shank will also head out. Use whatever nuking you have to do here. Supers, heavies, anything. Just kill these 2 because they are incredibly annoying to deal with if you don't take care of them right away, as they hit really hard and have tons of health. You might have also caught there that the Vandal will drop 10 burdens, so that's an instant super back for you. And keep in mind, these 2 will spawn after every single damage phase, so just be ready for them. Anyway, once they are killed, find the Scorch Vandal to get your Scorch Cannon, and make sure everyone is in their correct area at this point, so left, middle, right, and have the Scorch Cannon user shoot one of the receptacles to fully charge it up. It doesn't matter which one you shoot. Doing so will launch pods up to the top of the room, where they will each drop 5 burdens. And each zone, left, middle, right, has 2 pods that will launch up, totaling 30 burdens per Scorch Cannon shot. The Scorch Cannon user needs to kind of move around the room a bit to reach the other receptacles, so we usually like to assign the Scorch Cannon to the middle area so they easily can head back there to collect their burdens. And once you deposit 60 total burdens, the damage phase begins. Same sound cues as the giant ogre, just wait for that deep noise to happen before unloading on the boss. Pop a Well of Radiance or Ward of Dawn, again whatever you're using, and start pumping damage into the boss. This is a massive damage window. You've got about 25 seconds. It's very similar to Oryx. For the first damage phase, I'd recommend saving any damage supers to deal with the Vandal and the Shank that we dealt with at the start of the encounter, as again, they'll spawn in here after each damage phase. They're very annoying, so just get rid of them. Rinse and repeat for as many damage phases as you need here, but as long as you're in a Well of Radiance and landing your linear fusion shots, this really should not take more than 2 damage phases. And once the boss is dead, congratulations, you did it, but unfortunately, you don't have your Gjallarhorn yet. Before leaving the Grasp of Avarice Dungeon, make sure to stop by this pod to visit this exo and pick up your 12th and final audio log. And once you collect that, make sure to claim your audio log triumph to get that super clean looking Gjallarhorn ornament. And FYI, if you did happen to miss one on accident, it's okay. The game actually lets you know which one you missed. So just go to your triumphs, and if it's like the 4th one down that's missing, you know you're missing collectible 4. So just go back to my video, look at which one you missed, and go grab it. You do not have to get these all in one run. You can get them in separate runs. But enough about that. We still need to get Gjallarhorn, so let's do that. This whole next section was entirely unnecessary to add in my opinion, but hey, I didn't make it this way. Let's go get it done as quickly as possible. Head over to Gjallarhorn, which obviously is everyone's favorite NPC, and he will tell you to hunt down some Wolfpack rounds by killing any yellow bar fallen enemies. I always like taking people to the Exodus Garden to a Lost Sector because it's just right here, and there are enough yellow bars to get all the needed Wolfpack rounds, usually in 1 to 2 runs, and they go quick. Once you have your Wolfpack rounds, head back to Gjallarhorn, and he will have you go back to Banshee and the Tower, who will have you go back to Gjallarhorn, who will have you go back to the Exodus Garden to a Lost Sector to clear it out, then head back to Shaw, and just to rub salt in the wound, he has you walk 20 feet to his garage to pick up the unfinished version of the Gjallarhorn, bring it back to him where he will finally give you the completed Gjallarhorn. Seriously, Bungie, that was just so pointless. Why? But no more time for complaining. We need to get this catalyst done to make this Gjallarhorn even more powerful. The catalyst will let you have 2 rockets per mag, which is just so good. To get the catalyst, you'll need to open 3 super secret chests hidden throughout Grasp. The first one is in the section right after you complete the first crystal and crumble the ground in the cave. Clear the enemies out, and then you'll notice a large yellow bar kind of just chilling here off to the right. Do some damage to him, and he will drop a burden. Pick up this burden and run back over here to unlock the first chest. You can do this as many times as you need. He'll keep dropping burdens for you, and if you happen to kill him, don't worry, another one will spawn in. And I believe all of these have to be done in the same run. You cannot do just one at a time. I think so. Just to be safe, do it in one run. So the second chest is right after that red staircase area with a falling barrel trap. Get your burden from this guy here and head through the air vents and head out here to get your second chest. The third one will take you a few tries, most likely. You'll have to fully clear out the area where you need to launch the servitor bombs, and once you do so, the final big yellow bar will be in this area. This is best to do with a teammate because they can have the cannon pre-charged for you for when you need to launch to the middle. Just follow this path and take as many tries as you need. You got this. And now you've got your Gjallarhorn Catalyst. Gjallarhorn's Catalyst needs 500 kills to be activated, which is basically just a few Dares of Eternity runs with the unlimited power ammo sections. Alright everyone, I really hope that was helpful. Again, too many people don't have their Gjallarhorn, so hopefully after watching this, you can get it. If this guide did help you, just let me know down in the comments. You don't have to like the video or anything. I just like seeing people get their exotics. Makes me happy and lets me know that I'm doing the right thing. So, alright everyone, if you would like to see me tackle more of these, let me know. That is it for this one. I will see you all in the next video.